Don't procrastinate. Meditate. That's easy to say. But there's definitely a bit of procrastination that gets in the way of most meditations, from what I've experienced and what people talk about. There's really not much stopping you though. I'm in my front room, sat on my sofa, with a blanket on because it's cold. It does add a little ambience, it's kind of nice. And these things dangling around my neck, depending on what style of meditation. These are tool, but you certainly don't need them. And that's it. So I'm over prepared, really. Meditation is not about what you've got externally. It's about what you've got internally. And that I believe is part of why there's so much procrastination around it, mine and others. We've got a brain, we've got a mind, right? We've got an ego, and it knows that repeated meditation will weaken its control, its power, as we begin to discern more and more what's going on and where the information is coming from. The mind, that in my experience contains a bunch of complexes that have all got their own agenda as well, right? If we go and look in, it doesn't want it. It's scared of meditation. It doesn't want you to take control back. It wants to be able to react how it's always reacted. It's found comfort in those reactions that torture you. And it's scared. So it's a survival instinct in a ways. It's where it's where it comes from. So in Buddhist terms, the Buddha called it Mara, the armies of Mara. And Mara would throw her armies at you while you were sat in meditation as well, all those distractions and whatnot. But it's also like the inability to actually get there and do the work. Mara causes all of that as well. It's all part of the illusion, part of the Maya in the Hindu way of doing it, the illusion, the Maya. So that's why you're procrastinating. Like I say, you really don't need anything with you. I've got a blanket because it's cold. Got a couple of dogs. That's it. It'd be very nice, for sure, to have the ambience of being sat on a mountaintop or, silent ashram somewhere, temple filled with incense is certainly going to add something to any experience, but it's just not necessary. And they're all blocks that we put in our way. I need it to be like this. I need it to be like that. I need it to be like the other. Shut up. Don't procrastinate. Fucking meditate. So we'll quickly do a meditation. I'm gonna run us through a few minutes of a Buddhist technique that was the way I learned to meditate, and it's simple. We're going to start with a focusing breath. So the idea, anytime we're going to meditate, we want to get nice and comfortable. We want to be able to move. We want to be able to sit. You want your belly to be able to move in and out freely. If you think about it, so you want your knees On your knees, level or below you. They're actually below me. They're below my hips here. It doesn't look like it because of the camera angle. But if you sat on a seat, sit on a chair, that works perfectly fine. You don't want to slouch into the back. You want to keep your back kind of nice and straight, nice and tall. Chin is in, heads up. Think about being tall in the spine. Going tall in the spine, not too proud. We're going to try and get a straight spine. If you rest your hands on your elbows or you rest your hands in your lap, you can lean forward a little bit. I do sometimes. You play with it. Play with kind of leaning onto your arms. Get yourself as comfy as you can. We're all slightly different shapes. We all have different arm lengths, leg lengths. We're just totally different shapes. So I don't know the best way you're going to get comfy. You just play around with it. Get yourself into a position where you feel like you're nice and tall, but you're using the minimal amount of effort to do so. Your bones are maybe helping you a little bit in some kind of stacked way. Or not. It's about being okay with what we've got. So let's stop procrastinating and work with what we've got. Let's get yourself into a comfy position. Take a couple of deeper breaths. Try and force those breaths, not force them, that is totally the wrong word. But we're going to take some bigger breaths. We're going to breathe down low into the abdomen with a large breath. A couple of deep breaths in there. And let them go. Let them go with a sigh. A lot of what you're going to learn to do here is let go. Just let go. And for me, I find that pretty much 90% of the letting go happens on the exhale. So learn to relish the exhale. Okay, so you're taking a couple of breaths. Found a nice comfy seat. We're kind of tall. Next, I just want you to flutter your eyes closed. If you're not comfortable with your eyes closed, maybe you look at the ground or you go and dull the light in the room. It's whatever works. But if we can take the light from the eyes, we're going to find it easier to go inward. The eyes are a door, a sense door, and they're a really potent one. It's really hard to not mentally process things that you can see. Trying to switch off with your eyes open is you're getting pretty advanced, right? We don't need to start there. So whatever you need to do to kind of take that out of your eyes, do it. Okay? Now we're just going to find our breath. We're not going to try and control our breath in any way for this meditation. We're just going to let it do what it wants to do. Now we're looking for where the breath enters the nose. You feel it enter the nostrils. Feel it kind of going cool on the in-breath. And then as you exhale through the nostrils, it's kind of warm. I just want you to follow that warm, cold, warm, cold, and just note warm, cold. Try not to judge those words as one being better than the other. It's just warm and it's cool. You can go within and out. if the breath in the nostril is tricky to keep your awareness on, it could be, try the rise and fall of the belly. Belly and the chest, the rise and fall as you're breathing in and out. They move your body to accommodate the incoming and outflowing breath. There's physical movement there. That's a nice anchor. And if you were to anchor there, you wouldn't be going with the warm and cold, but I mean in, out, up, down. We're not, like I say, trying to judge the process. So we're not trying to introduce language that's kind of got that level of judgment to it. We're just trying to observe. We're trying to witness. Just the in and the out. What's happening? We'll probably make a story about it. We'll try and figure out what's supposed to be happening. It should be like this. Thought it was going to be like this. I'm not doing this. I'm not good enough. This isn't for me. Alright? Marathons all around me. Like, right? You've been sat somewhere in silence for 3 or 4 days. It gets really weird. Right? And if you notice that you've fallen off task, here's a really big point. If you've noticed that you've fallen off task, that's awesome. Get back on the task. That is the work. That is the key. Noticing and redirecting with a smile or with ease, without going like, for fuck's sake, what have I just done, right? Without that harsh voice. That's the work. That is the exact reprogramming you're looking for. There are different stages on this path of meditation, but most people who are sat watching a basic meditation, that's where you're at. That's exactly what you're looking for. You are sat here looking for, how do I reprogram myself? How do I get to that point? How do I make myself change? I'm frustrated at what's going on. I get angry, get upset, all these things. This is where you get to reprogram it, right? Things aren't going as you expected them to. We're going to smile when we realize, right? You made a plan, it fell apart. You're going to smile when you realize all information is good information. It just depends on the story you're telling yourself when that information arrives. And that's easy to realize here. But when shit gets going out there, it's not easy to remember. And trying to tell somebody that in the midst of something, like, you're fucking slap in the face, right? And probably rightly so. Fuck, I think my wife's wanted to do it to me a few times. Fuck. You know, but that is it. Don't be upset by the falling off track. Get back on with a smile. Create new normal pathways. That's interesting. I totally forgot what I was doing. I'll get back to it. Instead of beating yourself up. And if you haven't already, you can release the breath. So that's a basic, as I was taught, Vipassana focus meditation. And over time, you learn to narrow that down, and you learn to hold that awareness. And by focusing and holding, and slowly you don't shut your mind off. You're never going to shut your mind off, but you begin to shine the light away from that kind of babbling. The one of the best analogies that I heard that landed for me was, it's never really going to go. It might, who knows? It's your practice if it goes. Sweet, but don't expect that. It's gonna be like the radio. I mean, we don't really have radios anymore, do we? But like when I was a kid, the radio was always on. They kind of are on job sites, building sites. Radio's running. Nobody's fucking listening to it. Right? It's playing the same old shit it played yesterday, especially nowadays, right? You put the radio on, it just plays the same shit. So you're just not thinking about it. You drop into the background, and that's what we're trying to do with the mind. That's what we're trying to do with that babbling Billy O that just, won't shut up. We'll get there one day. So meditation 101. And I would advise, I suppose I would say advise, if you're gonna try this, and this is gonna build into a class. This is just the beginning broken down. If you're gonna try this, don't beat yourself up necessarily and try fucking half an hour. I need to do half an hour. If you do like doing that and you do half an hour, awesome. If you don't fucking worry. One of the things that I realized a few years after I started all this was that like quick dip-ins are kind of where it's at. So one of the things that I play with is just like trying to remember to have that quick oh, hang on a minute, I'll go over here for a minute, stop somewhere quietly for a minute. I mean, you've got to know where you are, and you've got to be able to find the space, but just stop somewhere for a minute, stop and have a mindful minute. But really tune in, like find your breath, and just try and stay with your breath. When it's only a minute, it's actually sometimes easier, because you don't have this like, oh, I'm going to try and do this for 5 minutes and focus. You've just got a minute that you're trying to focus. And if you try and do a minute 5-10 times a day, I feel like you'd be getting rewired quicker than procrastinating over not fucking meditating for half an hour or an hour every night. But that is just me. So maybe give it a go. We'll speak soon.